Hello, everyone. Very good evening. And first of all, thank you all for joining, taking out your precious time and joining for our first webinar on Web3 technology. And today the topic is evolution of Web 3.0 in our modern world. So let me just introduce our speaker today. Our speaker is Mr. Amogh Tiwari. He's a founder of DeFi.co, and he is one of our board advisory. He's one of the member of our board advisory also. And first of all, thank you, Amogh, for taking out your time and joining us. And this is our first webinar, and we all are excited to hear out from you. So
thank you so much for doing this. This is really important for India, and I'm super excited. This is amazing.
Yes. So, and we all are pumped up also, like as this is being a first webinar, and recently we have, as a times, we have launched our Web3 COE website also. It's a center of excellence, and we are creating awareness also for all our, learners and the people in India. So this is the evolution of, Web 2 to Web 3. And we all want to know how it all started and what are the future scope and trends, how it is going to look. So yeah, I think we are all excited. So I think let's begin our webinar, and you can also quickly introduce us about yourself and about your company and how you started your journey into Web3.
Yeah, sure. Thank you so much. So hi everyone, my name is Amogh Tiwari. I am founder and CEO at DeFi. DeFi essentially is a financial infrastructure protocol that allows lending, renting and other financial utilities on NFTs and digital assets. For sure, we will be understanding a lot about them on today's webinar. Previously, I was building a SaaS product, which is a pre-seed funded company. It was more about remote work and communication space. I'm a multidisciplinary designer by profession turned techie. And this is my fourth venture. And as a designer, I was naturally gravitated towards NFTs and essentially Web3 in general. Then tech gave an extra leverage and opportunity to build on top of it and also envision the future of decentralized finance and digital assets. So I ventured into Web3, let's say 1.5 years back when it was not that much of a noise. And in India, especially, of course, there was lots of action happening outside the India, majorly in Southeast Asia and other regions. So that's it. This is Web3 is an industry that is going to add trillions of dollars in India's GDP. So it's as important.
Great. That's great to hear, so you can just, walk us through the actual webinar, and people are really pumped up to, hear us from you.
Sure, absolutely.
Yes.
So just let me share my screen. I hope my screen is visible.
Yes, it is visible.
So before we start deep diving into what is Web3 and what is the hype all about, let's figure this out, and comfortably we can say that what we are witnessing right now, it is the fourth industrial revolution. As we all know that our industrial revolution started with steam engine, then electricity, then microchip, now today blockchain crypto is the fourth. And we are lucky enough to say that we did not witness the revolution of steam engine and how electricity was formed, as we are too young. But yeah, fairly we can say that we are witnessing a new kind of industry to be created, and we're glad that we are part of it. So as we all know that Web 1 was all about static pages, banners, billboards, everything which you saw in Web 1 was completely read-only. That was only one user-centric and one domain. Web 2 has been involved, and we can confidently say that we all have been part of the Web 2, and we have been right now also. If you see that whatever platform and medium this webinar is happening, it's part of Web 2, it's not part of Web 1. Now, by considering this, we can have a fair understanding of how Web 3 will look like. So that means, in a nutshell, what Web 3 is bringing it's elevating our experience of interacting with technology. By saying that, what I mean is, let's say if you're watching or using an app in your mobile phone, you are interacting with a static web, where the interaction inside may be a motion, inside may be a video or an MP4 and audio. As we all know that we consume information in only three forms of medium, that is audio, video, and text, presented in very different forms. So that's where Web3 comes in picture, and it completely changes what we have been experiencing in Web 1 and Web 2. So in Web3, you have blockchain, you have decentralization, you have AR, you have Metaverse. The privacy issues are solved, which currently we have in Web3. And also we get an opportunity to study human behavior and also build around human behavior very closely. So a major difference between Web3, if we compare to our current scenario, it will be, I differentiated that in two forms, that is 2D and 3D. And that is a major differentiation factor. And that is one of the most important words I can say today in the whole Web3 ecosystem, that is 3D. So 2D was centralized and 3D is decentralized. 2D works in fiat. Fiat is your own traditional currency, which is given by banks. 3D does not works in with the currency which is given by the banks. It is governed by crypto and decentralized finance. 2D is static and dynamic. 3D is real time. Let's say what we are doing right now is static and dynamic. In real time, you could actually feel me. You could actually feel that I'm really speaking close to you. If I come close to you and I speak the same thing, you will feel that I'm closer. If I go back and I speak the same thing, you will feel that I'm far from you. That's what real time is meaning here right now. 2D, the major information we conveyed to the world of the internet was email IDs and usernames. Let's say whatever you must have joined this webinar by using some usernames and email IDs throughout the process of coming to the Zoom. Now in 3D or in Web3, the same process is replaced by wallets and avatars. Avatars majorly are our decentralized identities, and wallets are our decentralized usernames or email IDs, in simple words. So this is a great quote by Leon Liu, and I feel before I deep dive into the more technical aspects, I want to share this with you guys, and I hope you can understand why Web3 and is more important today, which it was not 5 years before, as it is creating new dynamics of how we look at money, how we look at data privacy, how we look at customer experience, consumer experience, and who governs that. In the end, everything today which we do is owned by, in some ways, an organization. I mean, that can be your email IDs, that can be your passwords, that can be anything. And the party decides, the governing party decides how users will be compensated for that. Now, with Web3, that is completely not the question. In Web3, you get the power and profits in your hands. What do we actually mean by that, power and profit in your hands? Let's say today I paid someone 10 rupees from doing an UPI, and I didn't wanted to share that data with government, right? And or to say that I don't want to share 0.5% transaction charge on each 10 rupees, which goes back to the government, and also the data that goes back to the government. It's not saying that we are going against government. Generally, lots of people believe that decentralization means we are going against the government. No, we are discovering a new form where the transactions, the experiences we see today can be elevated, can be given in the hands of users, which means today I own my data, I am responsible for my data, and I will be also responsible for my data in future as well, which means I have the control of my data. That is one of the biggest and the most important reason why Web3 matters. It gives you handhold of your data. It completely breaks the status quo, and it is linked to a decentralized currency, because as we know that today, even if we have to buy a toffee or we have to buy a house, that whole infrastructure is linked by a centralized authority, and it is governed by that centralized authority. Let's say all of these things, what I said right now, you can control it and you can decide what will be the price. That's where Web3 comes in picture. In Web2 environment, we call our applications which we use, since we are using in a digital environment, we are continuously using applications. And those applications are called apps. That can be web app, that can be mobile app, that can be any kind of app. Right now, we are also using an app only. In a decentralized environment, those applications are called decentralized applications. And why they are called decentralized? Because in this particular app, right now, when I entered Zoom, I did login sign up with my email ID. But in a decentralized environment, you do login sign up with your wallet. So how does it, how does it changes the whole game? So that wallet is acting like your entry to everything in a decentralized environment. Let's say it's your purse, your personal purse. You keep money, you keep assets, you keep credit cards, you keep everything in that purse, right? In a similar manner, your decentralized wallet is just like your personal purse. You keep everything in that. You keep your digital assets, you keep your currency, you keep your other informations, and you also use that wallet to enter into decentralized application where both the parties are not aware who owns the wallet, because that wallet is not having your personal address. It is having a decentralized address, which is called your wallet address, that allows you to completely remove the need of KYC, which means today anything which we use, from signing a document to going inside an application, we are allowed to go through some sort of KYC process. That can be anything. That can be signing up with number, that can be signing up with email ID. That's where Web3 comes in picture and says that you don't have to enter your email ID. You don't have to sign up or give your personal information. Why not you create a decentralized wallet and connect that wallet to our platform and access everything you wish to? And when the question comes, okay, what I am accessing? So what I am accessing here is, I am accessing everything what I am currently accessing in Web2, but with a decentralized nature. If I use Instagram today, everything I do on Instagram Instagram is the guy behind all of the data information. Tomorrow, if they want to ban me, they can ban me any day. Why? Because they have the hold to it. But if I am using a decentralized Instagram does not know who am I. And Instagram is not owning my data, my pictures, anything. That gives me an elevated privacy layer. Now, since this Instagram is in 3D, I just not only can see Instagram, I can also feel Instagram. I can be inside Instagram. I can be inside other people's posts and I can experience them because they are putting that experience on that platform as well. So that's where decentralization, or in a nutshell, Web3 comes in picture and changes the whole narrative of how today we experience technology. So imagine, what would internet will look like if it was in 3D? Imagine if you can, if you just open, as I said, open a web page and you try to enter it, but the 3D successor of the internet enables that you are not just entering in a static web page, but you are actually entering in a whole new experience, an experience that can be experienced by AR, VR headsets, by having more personalized gaming suits, which can actually make you feel the sound, the noise. Because today, even if you sit in a movie theater, in the end, what you're doing is you're sitting there and experiencing everything, but in being static. In Web3, the 3D is very personalized. You literally feel everything. You can imagine in this way, if there is a gun sound happening at your head, you literally feel that the gun was shot at you, and you feel the pain. Your blood pressures rises up. Your many important areas of body are affected. That overall gives you a very different experience what do we currently have today. That's where Web3 comes in and creates a new form of technological advances to our current consumers and masses. So let's deep dive into a little bit and understand what is Metaverse and how Metaverse is going to be the future of our self-expression and autonomy. So as we believe that I've been talking a lot lately about privacy. Privacy is by far one of the most important things that lots of folks we don't value today, but later with time we will start valuing to the scale which we don't value today. Why? Because ownership of our information, what we do on internet, is being capitalized where we don't get any money for that. Remember, every time you go on a website and they ask you to allow cookies, what they are actually asking you to do is they are asking you to provide your information to them, whatever you're doing, all the information, allow that to them so that they can sell that information to other parties without you getting a single pie for it. But in Metaverse, if you do this, you are getting rewarded, you are getting profit. That's where I said privacy and profit is now in your hands, which means anything you do, now you are responsible for your own complete ecosystem. You can create your own complete new identity and digital identity, I must say. So there are few key technologies that are powering this Web3 ecosystem. One is cryptography. Cryptography is the underlying technology in which blockchain is formed. AI, AR, VR, IoT is behind all of our AR, VR headsets, and 5G. As soon as 5G hits in India, we can confidently say that 20-30% of all the young kids will be having AR, VR headsets gifted by their parents at home, and they are experiencing education, learning, everything inside that. Which means, if we ask the question, do we really need schools in future if we can just experience our whole classroom right next to us, sitting at our homes? And that's where Metaverse comes in picture and shows its enormous potential, that what it can do for us currently, and also how it is going to transform our current problems with the help of elevating our human experiences. For example, you are depressed and you're using lots of medications and pills, and you're doing yoga and trying to go somewhere, but suddenly you saw an AR VR headset and you wear that AR VR headset, and you are in Mount Everest, and you can feel Mount Everest. You can feel everything what Mount Everest has to offer, but you cannot. But you know that you cannot go there. You are not there. But at the same time, it is allowing you to elevate your consciousness the way current technologies are unable to do so. So Web3 is a $1 trillion opportunity, I can say. I mean, it's huge, and it comprises under certain segments. These are DAOs, decentralized autonomous organizations, DeFi, decentralized finance, stable currency. It's a form of currency used in a decentralized environment to do any kinds of transaction or trade. Creator economy, or NFTs. NFTs essentially are called non-fungible tokens, which allow you to have completely ownership of everything which you create. I mean, if you create an art, you can own that art and you can trade it globally. And even if you own a small agreement or a document which you feel it is really important and it needs to be secured and saved, it needs to be known for the owner, who is the owner, who is carrying the information. That's where the application of blockchain gave rise to this technology called NFTs. Privacy and digital infrastructure are again one of the most important part of it, and blockchain-based games. So I have kept blockchain-based games last, but I can say that uh, the reason for Web3 revolution globally is blockchain-based games. Why? Because why games? Because we can say that everyone has played games in their childhood, right? And it's so exciting. It's so new. It's so refreshing. Today, that gamified behavior is the way companies are bringing technology in front of us. Because if someone came and simply said that and it is very secure, you will be like, I don't trust you. I trust my bank, and I'm going to use that money. I don't need your money. That's where blockchain based game came in the picture, and created new form of earning model, new form of business model, new form of finances for gamers, which later went on to be inspired by other categories as well, which you see today right now. So what is a DAO? DAO is a decentralized autonomous organization where the organization is completely owned by the community leadership. Let me give you an example of that. Let's say a company of 1,000 folks, 1,000 employees, is not governed by the directors of the company. It is governed by the 1,000 employees. In simple word, that's what DAO is. Now, if you ask, can we really do that? Yes, we can actually do that. And it's actually already happening. Now, companies now are not owned by the founders and directors. They are just part of it. They are building it. They do have the rewards for building that company, but the company's decisions are community driven, and they are taken by they're taken by, let's say, whoever in the community is having maximum voting rights. And how do they even get the voting rights? That's where decentralized organization introduce their decentralized currency. For example, you must have heard about lots of cryptocurrencies like Ethereum, Bitcoin, Matic, and many others. Few of them are not decentralized, but few of them are absolutely decentralized, which means that if I own their currency in a large amount, I hold a voting power to take important or be part of important decisions in the company. It's similarly like saying, I hold maximum shares of a company. And but in today's environment, if you hold even 2% share of the company, you just cannot make any decisions, or you don't know what that company is doing. You're just holding your share. But in a decentralized organization, you're not only just holding the share, you're also responsible for important decisions of the company, and the rewards are directly shared with you. They are not just shared with the only with users. And it is enabled by decentralized finance, which is the next thing. So decentralized finance is a form of finance which is very important factor of the whole Web3 vertical, where as we all know, anything today we do on internet, buy a book on Flipkart, or buy a jewelry somewhere, or buy a subscription or a course, we do that by some kind of transaction using our current currency. With DeFi, as I previously explained, that imagine if I am on, let's say, an educational portal called Udemy, and I'm buying a course on Udemy. Now, when I go on the checkout section, I do the payment. At that moment, my payment is done by either UPI, Google Pay, or credit cards or debit cards. In a decentralized environment, if the Udemy was decentralized, I will go on Udemy, connect my wallet, whatever the digital currency or cryptocurrency I have in my wallet. The moment the Udemy asks me to pay, I will pay that with that currency. Now, Udemy does not know that money is coming from Amogh Tiwari, because it is decentralized, because I have connected my decentralized wallet. And that's where decentralized finance enables many layers of new forms of finances, which are literally not possible in current scenario of India. And I think that is the reason why cryptocurrency is not much popular in India. Why? Because we believe, as bank says, that whatever we will call currency will be the only currency. If RBI says that this is Indian rupee, this will be the only Indian rupee. You cannot come and say to me that this is a new form of currency and I am doing trade with this because it is not valid. But as it is decentralized, that's what it is. And we have to accept it. And millions and millions of people have already started accepting it as a form of currency to trade. That trade can be a digital picture, the trade can be a service, a subscription, or the trade can be whole real estate. You will be shocked to know that in Arizona, there is a real estate dealer who has started selling real estate via cryptocurrencies, which means today, if you do a real estate deal, you will have to go lots of fees, registration fee, this fee, lots of fees to governments. But that deal was completely tax-free. But since you are doing this in a, you can say, democratized governed nation, you will have to pay taxes. And considering that, we are a country which has the highest tax, that is 30%. And let's hope that it reduces sooner or later with time. What is a stable coin? You must have heard of when India passed its recent budget, India also introduced its proposal for its own digital currency, so that which is a little different idea, because a digital currency cannot be owned by a centralized organization. But still, it is a digital currency that will allow us to do digital trade without involving Indian rupees. And that actually is a stable coin, which means that its value will be always stable, just like the value of any currency offered by a government. If it is a US dollar, the stable coin of US dollar based on US dollar is USDT. So USDT's value will always be relevant, equivalent to what your current stable coin's value is. So it's like, what it does, it solves the problem of doing exchange. For example, there are two different kinds of cryptocurrencies. One cryptocurrency has little high value, other cryptocurrencies has less value, and you both want to do the trade, let's say buying a water bottle, and you say that I can't do trade with you because your currency's value is less. So he will say, okay, let's involve a stable coin in between. Let's exchange our currency on that and do the trade. That's where stable coin solves the problem of volatility of cryptocurrencies present right now in the market. So what is privacy and digital infrastructure? So one of the most important aspect of everything what we are talking today and discussing today is, by blockchain, it completely is transparent by design. By transparent by design means that, as you remember, I previously said that if you went on Udemy and you did a transaction, you bought a book or a course by paying X amount of dollars. Now, transparent by design means that you can go on and check on, which is called on-chain transaction. You can go and check that if Udemy comes and says tomorrow that I have not received the money, you can go on and check on the blockchain that your money has been transferred from X wallet address to the Y wallet address, and here is the proof of that. So that proof is what the principles of blockchains are built on. There are various proofs: proof of stake, proof of work, and other recent proofs after Ethereum has been merged today. So cryptography is something which has been pioneering recently, and the researchers have been doing lots of work to understand how digital infrastructure can be created, where all the data, whatever app we use, whatever infrastructure we use, is not owned by tech companies, or let's say it's not owned by larger tech companies like Google, XYZ things. Slowly, if we start to transition everything in a decentralized environment and do all the trade with the decentralized cryptocurrencies, it enables users to completely own the internet, which means if there are 7 billion people on the internet, the 7 billion people will be owning their bit of internet, irrespective of where they belong to and what kind of infrastructure or they use. So I have kept NFTs a little longer as this is something I have been working on personally and very deeply. So and why I feel NFTs are one of the most important aspects of Web3 ecosystem, and they will be empowering Web3 ecosystem pretty crazily. And as you know, that bear market is going on in the whole Web3 and crypto ecosystem. The next wave of bull run will be driven by NFTs. So what are actually NFTs? I mean, and how do they completely change the game? And let me say you one more thing. Your first experience to Web3 as a user, let's say tomorrow you are using a product or a service of a company. Your first experience as a Web2 user and then transitioning to Web3 user will be with NFTs. So it is pretty important to understand what are NFTs and how every one of us today can leverage NFTs for our own personal benefits also, and also for doing XYZ things as well. So as you know, so NFTs are called non-fungible tokens, and fungibility means that for let's say if a unit of a good is indistinguishable and it is mutually interchangeable. For example, a one rupees or $1 bill is exchanged with the $1 bill, means non-fungibility is a property that a unique goods and artwork, collectibles, real estate, many things have and allow you to trade. But a non-fungible token is a digital asset where it keeps a different kinds of value. Those values are called utilities. And that values are not just utilities, but an information that underlying asset contains. For example, today, if you have seen in a 1 rupees note, there are so many, or 10 rupees note, there are so many informations. It's about how much silver it has, where it was signed, who signed it, it is assigned by RBI or not, it is real or not. There are various things on that 1 rupees note that allows you to trust that, okay, it is original 10 rupees note or 1 rupees note, whatever. In similar manner, an NFT is not just a picture, or it's not just a video or an artwork which we today see. It's actually a form of addressing something on blockchain, which means that minting something on blockchain is the right word, which means that, for example, if I created an NFT of this webinar and posted a date called posted today's date 50 and minted it on blockchain and shared it with you all guys. Now what have I done here? I captured this moment and I recorded it on blockchain, which the information is accessible to everyone, but you will never know that I own that NFT. Why? Because as I explained previously, my identity is with decentralized wallet. So that NFT is owned by a decentralized person whom we don't know, but he owns this. He is the owner of this. How can we say that? How you all can say that this NFT was created and minted by Amogh only, or he is the only owner of this particular shot? Because it has metadata, which means any asset, a digital asset, is coming up with lots of data. That data can be its proof, when it was bought, when it was sold, when it was traded, on what amount it was traded, on what amount it was sold, from whom to whom it was sold, when it was sold. These kinds of data actually make this a completely a secure form to trade anything or sell anything in decentralized environment. So let's say if you if you must have heard about one of the most famous collections called CryptoPunk, and there are many famous collections today. Why those collections became millions and millions of dollars, and what was the reason behind a picture getting bought for $69 million? So essentially, NFTs, when they came, artists by nature, they found a unique way to leverage blockchain and sell their art. As you know that often companies, they don't pay enough to artists for the amount of hard work they have done. But with NFTs, artists found a way to sell their art directly to the users. And if the users asked, are you the real creator of this artwork? With the help of blockchain, they said, yes, you can go and see. I am the real creator of this art. This allowed them to completely remove the dependency of companies and start sharing their own artwork. It offers you to monetize lots of things. You can literally monetize anything with NFTs and remove gatekeepers. When I say remove gatekeepers, gatekeeper can be anyone. Gatekeeper can be a company, gatekeeper can be a service person, gatekeeper can be anyone who is stopping you to directly interact with your user or anyone whom you are addressing to. And with the help of NFTs, you can involve cryptocurrencies to trade this asset, justify the asset value by the data it contains and the proof of ownership that it contains, and trade using cryptocurrencies. That's where NFTs have been applied to various aspects and various verticals. For example, recently, London government is starting to share its applications, or you can say all the informations they send to other clients and parties and all the people coming there in the form of NFTs. Why are they doing that? They are doing this because it is absolutely secure. It stores so much information on blockchain that it becomes a proof of test. It becomes a proof that, okay, this is something it's created by them. They are the owner, and they will be the only sole individual to have access of this particular asset or services. One of the biggest problems NFTs have solved is forfeiting or counterfeiting, which means theft of anything. That can be art, that can be service, that can be anything. The whole counterfeiting and the whole industry in any department which is trying to disrupt or change the ethical moral ways to do business, that's where NFTs come in picture, and they are like, now you just cannot do anything without me knowing. Why? Because it's my asset. If I am going to sell you, you can only buy when I'm going to sell you, and I will charge for that. And if you're going to sell to someone else, I will be knowing that you have sold to someone else if I go on and check the transaction details and what is happening with my asset. And the best part is, if I said that if this is 1 rupees, I am selling you to 2 rupees. And if you go on and sell someone in 3 rupees, I need that 1% royalty. And that is where NFTs have transformed the way artists, musicians, game developers, every creative of this industry has been dependent upon monetizing its talent. And that's how they monetize it. And if something is really amazing, then an artist can have a lifelong royalty, because it's NFTs being traded with 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, and every transaction it is getting that 1% of the royalty value, and that becomes his real asset, and really important for him as well. So what is a blockchain-based game? So blockchain-based games are built on blockchain technology. A key difference between blockchain-based games like unpopular games such as Fortnite, Roblox, Minecraft, Candy Crush, any game you must have played, is that you have to buy, that you don't earn essentially from that game. You play the game, you enjoy the game, and you instead of that, you end up investing on that game, maybe buying premium versions, buying some assets, buying some gaming skins, XYZ things. But with blockchain-based game, you actually get paid to play, and which is pretty fascinating. With help of NFTs and cryptocurrencies, now gamers can actually monetize their gaming time and earn from playing games. So there are thousands and thousands of gamers today playing blockchain-based games for full time. It's their full-time job now because they are generating money out of it. Now they use those they use those NFTs earned and built during playing that game and trade it with other gamers to create a new form of economy among themselves, which does not require any permission from anyone. At the last, I will say that it is a really amazing quote by Naval Ravikant, the technologist, saying if you are skeptical about idea of owning a digital property, or I would say anything which is decentralized, you are just saying that I want to be always ruled by government. I want my data to be given to government or anyone or a company. And please do anything with that. I don't have any problem. And plus don't give me anything in return also. Yeah. Happy to answer anything which was not clear and deep dive into any vertical of the webinar.
Amogh, I have one small question for you. So, this is regarding to Ethereum. So, as we all know that today we had a Ethereum merge. So, can you quickly just give a quick overview of that, because I think all our viewers also would like to know about that. And personally, I would like to know about that. So it would be great if you can also give us some more context about that. So why it happened and how it looks like.
So essentially, as you know, blockchains are run on nodes, and those node requires mining by the miners, and those miners are sitting everywhere. India does not allows mining legally, but globally mining is done at a very large scale, and because of the miners, we are able to access blockchain. Miners are like big rigs, or you can say in softwares, machines working together all night, all day, so that someone sitting somewhere can do one transaction in crypto. And miners charge certain, and that's where they earn also, because that transaction, when the transaction is happening, certain percentage is given to miners, which is called gas fees, and that's how miners earn their revenue as well. This is how Ethereum worked previously, which was very hazardous for environment. Why? Because it was not just one mining rig. A whole infrastructure, whole hardware requires one big rig requires huge amount of electricity. I mean, it literally heats up the whole 100-meter area. If you have a really decent enough mining rig, you will be using, I mean, electricity equal to 100 houses just to mine one Bitcoin. And that's where Ethereum merge has removed is 99% dependency on miners and become conscious about environment, so that less miners means less mining rigs, means less electricity used, means in a nutshell, it is good for environment. The technology has now become really great for environment, something which earlier everyone said that blockchain is this and that, you are using so much of electricity, you are polluting the environment and earth. Well, guess what? Not anymore.
Got it. I think, thank you. I think Ethereum merge is, I mean, it's a very huge, vast topic. I think, in future, definitely, we can have a separate session on that. I think, we have a couple of questions in our chat. So I think, there are 4 questions, and you can just, please answer the question of our viewers.
Sure. So Manish has a question: how do we enable this technology to people who are not literate? Great. The same way we were able to do UPI transactions. I mean, when Paytm came and everyone was afraid, saying that where lots of people lost their lots of money. So what I can say here is that for sure it will require some time as these technologies are very advanced. Yes, it does requires little bit of education, and companies and people like TimesPro are working to solve that problem, so that slowly we can understand how things are moving and how we can get hold of things. But in a general, if you're not actually too much into blockchain, everything else is pretty much understandable. I mean, if you can read a blog and understand, you can read Web3, you can read everything and understand. It's that simple, I mean. Second, please elaborate use cases of AI in Web3. So great. Let's say you are wearing. So I recently read that it is a pretty great use case what AI is doing in Web3. So AI is now mapping your behavior and your avatar's behavior, so that if you're not present, for example, if this was happening in Metaverse and I didn't wanted to join this meeting, but the AI knows my facial expressions, knows me, knows my face. And if I uploaded a script for whole of the webinar, so it's like an AI model of me is completely doing this webinar. So AI is one of the most important factors that will be advancing with as Web3 moves ahead. I hope that answers your question, Kiran, and also your Manish.
There is one more question from Manish Agarwal.
Yeah. Today, our government provides many services and security with tax. Citizens contribute with government, the board of tax. Who will manage the country? So, as we all know that no one is trying to escape the government, but how does that sounds if you get an opportunity to manage the country, or if 10,000 really smart people get an opportunity to manage the country instead of people who are not that much eligible enough to manage the country, and those 10,000 people cannot take anything with themselves, build their fortunes or anything while managing the country. So in current scenarios, government is charging certain taxations on certain kinds of transactions done in crypto, which for them, they feel it is not secure, and they are right. Government's concern is right. Why? Because you could be trading AK-47 between themselves, and you would be doing transactions and no one knows about it. So that's where such hard transactions are required also at the same time for a country as big as India. So taxation is one step to legalize cryptocurrencies. What the problem is, the amount of the taxation. So cryptocurrencies now fall under the maximum amount of the taxation. I mean, there is no taxation limit above 30%, which a human pays today, apart from billionaires and millionaires. That is, this tax they pay, but it is charged from general users. So apart from that, I believe government is doing pretty great job. And one of the great examples of blockchain used in Arogya Setu app. That Arogya Setu app has lots of blockchain at the back end, which we don't know, but it is there. UPI, what we use today, it has lots of blockchain involved in them, which we don't know. So blockchain is a technology. Web3 is driven by that technology. That technology enables these all the things which we discussed on the webinar. So Pranav has a question. As a currency is based on lots of factors like economic gold reserves, export and import influx. How is digital currency? Oh, that's a great question. Digital currency gets its evaluation. So digital currency's evaluation is done by, it's called floor price. And the digital currency's evaluation is done by multiple factors. First thing, what is the utility of that digital currency? How usable it is? Who created it? Is it coming from a really prominent and renowned person or renowned activity? For example, you must have heard that Starbucks has launched its NFTs, and which means that Now, Starbucks NFTs will be having certain utilities. Let's say every time you go on Starbucks, if you hold a Starbucks NFT or digital currency or a token, you will be getting automatically 10% discount on each coffee. So that's how companies are leveraging NFTs to create new form of loyalty programs, new form of reward systems, which is away from that 30% discount on everything. So today, only way to get reward is discount on something. It is 30% or 60% from Swiggy, Zomato, Flipkart, Amazon, any product which we use today. The way we are rewarded as a user is by discounts. And NFTs completely change the way we get discounts. We are not just getting discounts anymore. We are integral part of that company's digital assets. Let's say Starbucks is having 25 million coffee drinkers, which is true. 25 million people drink coffee on Starbucks. And Starbucks has launched 10,000 Starbucks NFTs, only 10,000. Now people, and it is very expensive. All the people rushed and bought the NFT of 10,000 and they moved ahead. But rest, they want to buy the 10,000 as well. That is a one step to add value. That is scarcity. Now, the NFT itself is having so many values. You can go in Starbucks events, you can buy cheap coffee, you can experience Starbucks community and everything. These things are defined and comprised into a small floor price. When traded among peers to peers, that's how it starts guessing is more and more value. In a similar way, when a share comes out in a market, it is of 1 rupees, 2 rupees. When few parties believe that share is going to be important, they start to trade it, and that's where the share gets its value.
And we have one more question from anonymous attendee. Can you please throw some light on PI mining?
I'm sorry, I'm not aware about this.
Okay, so we have one more question from Saran Kumar. How is the security and privacy held accountable and decentralization?
Okay, great question again. So there is everything in. So there is one important aspect which I did not mention in the webinar, as it is very technical. So I thought we'll keep it sometime else. So privacy and security are governed here with the smart contracts. So let's say today, if I said I will pay you 1,000 rupees after 1 month, you give me 500 bucks today. Now, if I go and do that with a bank, bank will hold me accountable. Let's say he will keep a mortgage of 100 rupees and say, or let's say, or something which is more than 1,000 rupees. And will say, if you don't give me 1,000 rupees in next month, I will hold you accountable and your mortgage will be with me now. In that similar manner, smart contracts work. They are the intermediary between two parties and they create decisions. They take decision on the behalf of two parties, which means that if in that smart contract it is written, please transfer 10 rupees from wallet A to wallet B and give 2 rupees to me while doing that. Now, whenever someone hits that transaction, I don't have to take permission from party 1 to party B. I am a smart contract. I will take money from party A's wallet and put it to party B's wallet. That's what smart contracts do. And these smart contracts are verified audited by smart contract auditors. So there are very, very huge and big decentralized bodies who are sitting every day with thousands and thousands of engineers verifying each code line in the smart contract so that a user or someone cannot be fooled. Essentially, whenever you go or interact today, whenever you go and interact with any decentralized product or a decentralized company or a Web3 product and a company, and they involve lots of money transactions in them, any kind of money transactions, do check, are their smart contracts audited or not? If not, it is risky. If yes, the chances of losing or risk is completely like not in the picture. But still few hacks and few losses do happen, as it is a growing industry. And every day I can confidently say that whole world's engineers are working to solve all the problems around this so that it can become more secure and safe.
Great. So we have one more question from the Saran Kumar itself. So is there any regulations around the world with the recent cases of harassment on the metaverse?
Yes, there are people who are working on regulations on harassments of the on the metaverse. So I mean, every time we use this word regulation, it goes beyond the philosophies of decentralization. I mean, every regulation means it is coming from a centralized authority, and if it is coming from a centralized authority, it means that you are breaking the philosophies and morality of decentralization just for your own benefits. Now, you can be a company, you can be a user, you can be an organization, and you can be anyone. You can be government. So to understand decentralization fundamentally, it means that privacy and data is completely owned by me and I am completely anonymous. But to give me an identity in a digital environment, that's where I use NFTs and avatars to create my digital identity. And my digital identity interacts with other digital identity with a digital currency. Now, all of this interaction we do today, we also do today. We go on a pawn shop, we buy something, we go on a hotel, we buy something, we're interacting with a human and we do trade. In a similar form, imagine your digital identity going in a restaurant, doing that same trade, or going in a H&M's metaverse store and doing the same trade and coming back home. So, yeah.
Great. So we have one more question from Divya Jyoti. Could you please tell how cryptocurrency works? Because in the previous day, we used to sell our object with other objects instead of using any centralized currency. Could you please elaborate more on that?
So I didn't get this question, as they said, as the word is used, sell our object with other objects instead of using any centralized currency. So then how that sale happened? That's what I want to understand.
Yeah, I think that's what he meant.
But how can you sell anything if you don't involve any currency?
I think
because no, it says previous days, so I'm not able to look at. We used to sell our object with other objects. Let me read it again, please. Could you please tell me? So cryptocurrencies, I think I get your question. He's saying barter system. Yeah. It sounds like a barter system because no, cryptocurrencies is not barter system. Cryptocurrencies are just straight forward currencies, just like your any other currency, and they have a value because they have millions people trading them. They have a base value, they have a floor price value. So you can use that currency to buy anything, to trade any objects, just like you do with your centralized currency given by government. I hope that answers your question, Divya Jyoti.
So we have last question from Surajit. Hello, one quick question about NFTs behind the scene complete transaction maintained by blockchain. In case use really wants to open a new transaction with a new art, and now how the NFT will validate if it is a valid or invalid?
Since it is a new, it's a new transaction, I guess, and you are creating it with new wallet. So NFTs cannot be just iterated and things. It's like, for example, if you have a check, and if you have a check, and in that check you have written 1,000 rupees, and you had to write 10,000 rupees. And you just wrote 10 less or 10 extra, you can rub it, add it, remove it straight away. But if an NFT is minted on blockchain, one NFT, now that data cannot be changed by you also. To change that data, you have to issue a new NFT on that same blockchain to replace that data, but you cannot iterate that previous data. And that is why it becomes so secure. if today I wrote this is XYZ and minted it on blockchain, forever till life, it will have XYZ unless and until I mint a similar NFT on top of it by saying, no, it's not XYZ, it's ABC. Yeah. So I hope it answers the question.
Yes, I think, we don't have any more questions. I think,
Great.
I think it's time to conclude. I think, first of all, it was a wonderful session we had. And thank you, Amogh, for joining us and making it a successful session. And first of all, I would like to thank everyone for taking out your time and joining us and making it a successful event. And just to give you a quick update, we will be having session on every week on Web3 topics. So follow our official LinkedIn account for the more updates on webinar or masterclass or asking anything sessions on Web3 related topics. So yes, once again, Amogh, it was great session.
Thank you so much, guys. Thank you so much for patiently listening. You can reach out to me on LinkedIn or Twitter, and if there are any doubts, happy to answer.
Great. So yeah, once again, thank you from TimesPro, and we look forward for the more session we have on the next week and the coming week. So definitely, our learners will be, thrilled to join more session, and they would be having more context about Web3 technologies and the different topics what we have in Web3 like blockchain, Metaverse, NFT or decentralized finance. So yeah, so thank you for joining, and we look forward.
Thank you so much,
everyone, for joining next session on the next week. So
thank you so
much.
Have
a great day.
Bye.
Take care.
Bye.
Be safe.